Now we're going to look at another game-changing component, reducing people-pleasing behaviors. I want you to stop putting the work into other people and bring it home. Your sense of self shouldn't be based on what other people think. I can tell you from personal experience that any feelings of insecurity and inadequacy are not fixable there. Focus on yourself and do the critical work of knowing you are enough. People-pleasing behaviors is a form of codependent behavior, and I believe that reducing these behaviors is necessary in order to achieve life satisfaction. Why? As Beatty states, people-pleasing can be overt or covert. For example, we may run around fussing over others, chattering a mile a minute, when what we are really saying is, I hope I'm pleasing you. Or we may be more covert, quietly going through life making important decisions based on pleasing others. The problem is that in these scenarios, people's reinforcement for their self-worth comes from outside of themselves as opposed to coming from within. It comes with the approval given to them from other people. Yet outside reassurance is fickle and unreliable. It will never be enough if you don't believe in yourself. Since external feedback is not constant, it then erodes our feelings of self-confidence and discredits our belief in our lovability. As people, we pressure ourselves trying to please others in an attempt to reinforce our worth. We desperately try to anticipate others' needs, hoping for the reinforcement we get from knowing we helped. Yet we resent it when our efforts aren't acknowledged or reciprocated. The problem is when the reassurance isn't forthcoming or the kindnesses are not reciprocated, it erodes an already fragile sense of self. So what does one do? You must learn to look inside yourself for reassurance about your self-worth, the worth you've been seeking from others. Since it's so common, you have to ask yourself, how did this behavior start? Beatty notes that this behavior starts when we're children. People-pleasing is a behavior we may have adapted to survive in our family. We may not have been given permission to please ourselves, trust ourselves, and to choose a course of action that demonstrated self-trust. Sometimes in families, the implicit message is put others before yourself. However, if you always do that, who then is responsible for taking care of the self that God gave you? And if the idea is to delegate that responsibility, is that really fair to the person to whom you're delegating such a big job? No. I've learned it can be really hard to rehabituate behaviors that have been learned for so many years. But here's how change begins. First, try to stop guiding, problem solving, offering advice, or doing things for your family and friends unless you're specifically asked. And I mean specifically asked. As in, Jennifer, will you do X for me? Or, Jennifer, what do you think I should do about X? Otherwise, just listen. It's okay to be compassionate without offering unsolicited advice. When specifically asked for advice, you can give it. Remember, the reason you want to stop this behavior is because it sets you up to want to be thanked. Next, don't do anything that you don't want to do, hoping that you will get the same treatment down the line. Remember, people cannot be relied on to treat you the same way that you treat them. Lastly, do things for others because you want to. And be comfortable knowing that it's unlikely that you will receive anything in return immediately or in the future. You are the only one that needs to believe in you. If the focus of control is on others for reinforcement of your value, then any feelings of life satisfaction you have will always be transient.